Alabama State Representative Wandolyn Given had strong reaction to the election of the Biden-Harris ticket, especially Kamala Harris.
Tears started streaming down my eyes. I also had reflections of the 4 little girls who were killed at the 16th Street Baptist Church, who would never ever be able to realize this type of dream. I had thoughts of the countless numbers of women from women's suffrage, 100 years that we are in right now, celebrating, who thought it would be impossible for a woman to be in that level of leadership in the United States of America.
Given has also been thinking about civil rights leaders like the late John Lewis and the people of today.
I thought about the little girls in the housing communities here in Birmingham, Alabama, who feel like they have no hope. I thought about a lot of things, and as a woman of color, I have to look at it from a different perspective because I am a woman of color.
Given says she's especially hopeful the Biden-Harris team will reach across the aisle to supporters of President Trump to make lasting change toward justice for all. She's also very proud to be a member of the same sorority as Kamala Harris.
Well, many want to know what a Biden presidency is going to look like. And University of South Alabama professor Dr. Thomas Shaw tells us it could look very different from a Trump presidency. Dr. Shaw thinks that President-elect Biden will try to win over some by having a bipartisan administration and also passing moderate policies.
A lot of Americans really would prefer for government to operate in the background and not have it out in the forefront. And of course, during the Trump presidency, particularly, love him or hate him, Trump obviously enjoys attention. And so, of course, many of his actions were designed to garner attention, but that, of course, put government front and center almost every day in the newspapers. I think with the Biden presidency, particularly if we have things like predictability and stability, the government hopefully will operate a lot more in the background.
We are also hearing from residents and from city leaders here in Birmingham about the Biden-Harris victory. WVTM 13's Chip Scarborough has more on their message.
Well, voters across central Alabama have been on the edge of their seats for days now, waiting for the outcome of the presidential race. People we talked to today, as well as city leaders, say it's really a time for unity.
They have the responsibility to represent the people. So it no longer matters about who voted for you, but that you have a position and that you should uphold that position. So absolutely. And then for Kamala, a woman of color, the first woman, female vice president, oh, that's just phenomenal.
And compromise is not a bad word. That's part of our democracy. So everyone has expressed themselves through our democratic process, but now it's time to roll up our sleeves, everyone working together to be able to have a great country that we live in. We have a lot to do.
And Councilor Parker says the city of Birmingham's actually going to get to work Monday morning, coming up with ways to better unify people across our community and the nation. He says the city also wants to have a greater presence in our nation's capital. In Jefferson County, Chip Scarborough, WVTM 13.
Thank you, Chip. And tonight, some people in Birmingham are celebrating Mr. Biden's victory. WVTM 13's Xavier Harris joins us live from the Cahaba Brewing Company, where the Young Democrats are gathered. Xavier?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm at the Cahaba Brewing where the Young Democrats, the Birmingham Young Democrats are holding a Biden celebration. And as you can see behind me, majority of everyone that is moving around, they have to wear their mask and they are enforcing social distancing. They tell me they're prepared to watch the president-elect speak tonight at 7 o'clock. Now, earlier today, I spoke with Jefferson County Commissioner Pro Tem LaShonda Scales, who says she believes Biden and Harris will work extra hard to bring a divided country back together.
It's time for us to heal. We've got to make sure that we get away from the talk that has divided us. At this point, if you are an American citizen within the sound of my voice, doesn't matter what your race or your gender are, it's going to require all of us to come together. We've got to band together now so that those issues that affect us the most can be resolved.
Now, Scale also says moving forward, the American people must hold Biden and Harris accountable for what the platforms they ran on, including social injustice, climate change, and the pandemic.
They know the work that is ahead, and it's going to take crossing the aisle. And Joe Biden has a history of that. Kamala Harris has a history of that.
Now, Scales says today's victory, with Harris being the first woman of color as vice president, signifies glass ceilings breaking for women around the country. Now, today here I spoke with just a few people here. We got here about 15 minutes ago, and I'm told they're here to celebrate and have a good time. They even have special guests here, former Alabama Governor Don Singleton, and we will continue to speak with people here. We'll try and get a word with the former governor of Alabama to see if we can get any word or reaction from him on the new president-elect. For now, we're live in Birmingham. Xavier Harris, WVTM 13.
It has been a day filled with celebrations for the president-elect. Senator Chuck Schumer shared a video of him calling the former vice president. Here's part of that.
Thank you, Joe! You hear that? Thank you! He says thank you.
You can see that Senator Schumer letting Biden hear the crowd cheer for him as he drove through a crowd in Brooklyn just outside of the Barclays Center. The Senate Minority Leader posted that short video clip on Twitter today. And the House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn also showing support for Biden. In an interview today, Clyburn says he is pleased with the results and the future of this great country.
My investment in Joe Biden had everything to do with the restoration of our pursuit towards a more perfect union. I know this is not a perfect country. My God, I'm here. I'm living testimony that the country is not perfect. But we cannot give up on the country.
And from South Carolina, support for the new president-elect continues coming in from politicians across our state. Outgoing Senator Doug Jones issuing a statement saying in part that Mr. Biden has earned the admiration and respect of people of all political stripes from around the globe. He goes on to say that Joe is the right person to begin to heal the deep divisions that have been exposed and exploited over the past several years. Also showing support, Alabama Representative Terry Sewell and Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin. Sewell releasing this statement saying the Biden-Harris victory is a victory for unity. We are not blue America or red America. We are the United States of America. And Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin took to social media to express his thoughts, posting a photo with the president-elect with the caption reading, "Today is a victory for empathy, for civil rights, for unity in the face of division, for democracy. Congratulations, Mr. President-elect. Now let's rebuild our country."
For the past 4 years, Alabama's majority Republican congressional delegation has worked with a Republican in the White House. Now with a Democrat in the Oval Office, what could that relationship look like, and how could that impact you? I just talked with political science professor Dr. Marissa Grayson today about how that may play out.
I think they've been in this position before. Richard Shelby has been in this position before. When you think about the Senate, some of the House members have worked with Joe Biden before. They're used to divided government under the Obama administration. And so one of the things I think they do is they focus on Alabama. There's this focus on how do we make sure that Alabama still continues to get money for research, for hospitals, for other programs, even under a Democratic administration.
And coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, I'm going to take a closer look with Dr. Grayson about the role that Alabama could play in a Biden administration.